Hi there, welcome to this video on email etiquettes. Email is one of many communication tools to share and receive important information to do your job well. Crafting a professional email can help you to clarify and efficiently communicate with colleagues, your clients, and other professionals. Whether you are sending an email to a prospective client or a cover letter to a potential employer, follow these tips to find out how to create a perfect professional email salutation. The average US employee spends about a quarter of the work week combing through the hundreds of emails we all send and receive every day. But despite the fact that we are glued to our reply buttons, plenty of professionals still don't know how to use email appropriately. In fact, because of the sheer volume of messages we are reading and writing each day, we may be more prone to making embarrassing errors, and those mistakes can have serious professional consequences. So let's take a look at a few rules that you should always remember. The rule 1 is to include a clear, direct subject line. Examples of a good subject line include meeting date change, quick question about your presentation, or suggestions for the proposal. People often decide whether to open an email based on a subject line. Choose one that lets readers know you're addressing their concerns or business issues. Second rule is to use a professional email address. Now, if you work for a company, you should use your company email address. But if you use a personal email account, whether you are self-employed or just like using it occasionally for work-related correspondences, you should be careful when choosing that address. You should always have an email address that conveys your name so that the recipient knows exactly who is sending the email. Never use the email addresses that are not appropriate for use in the workplace. Third rule is to think twice before hitting the reply all button. No one wants to read emails from 10 people that have nothing to do with them. Ignoring the emails can be difficult, with many people getting notifications of new messages on their smartphones or distracting pop-up messages on their computer screens. Refrain from hitting reply all unless you really think everyone on the list needs to receive the email. Rule 4 is to include a signature block. It provides your reader with some information about you. Generally, this would state your full name, your title, the company name, and your contact information, which includes a phone number. And you can also add a little publicity for yourself, but don't go overboard with any sayings or artwork. So it can be your phone number, email address, or website name. Also, use the same font, type size, and color as the rest of the email. Rule 5 is to use professional salutations. The two most important aspects of writing a professional email salutation and tone and content. By including an appropriate salutation at the beginning of your email, you set the tone for the rest of the included subject matter. Like for instance, when you know the contact person, you should always use Dear Mr. and the last name, which can be either Jones or Dear Miss Smith. But when you don't know the contact person, that's when you can use Dear Sir or Madam, Dear Hiring Manager, or to whom it may concern. Rule 6 is to use exclamation points sparingly. If you choose to use an exclamation point, use only one to convey excitement. People sometimes get carried away and put a number of exclamation points at the end of their sentences. The result can appear too emotional or immature. Exclamation points should only be used very carefully in writing. Make sure to use exclamation when the person you are sending the email also uses the exclamation mark, else don't use it. For example, have a great day, good morning, you're welcome, thanks so much for the note, that's great news, congrats, amazing, incredible. Another rule is to be cautious with email humor. Humor can easily get lost in translation without the right tone or facial expressions. In a professional exchange, it's better to leave humor out of emails unless you know the recipient well. Also, something that you think is funny might not be funny to someone else. It is said something perceived as funny when spoken may come across very differently when written. So when in doubt, leave it out. Now, there's a very interesting humor I've added here. So you should check your emails more often. I fired you over 3 weeks ago. Rule 8 is to know what people from different cultures speak and write differently. So there are definitely cultural differences. Miscommunication can easily occur because of cultural differences, especially in the writing form when we can't see one another's body language. We have to make sure that we tailor your message to the receiver's cultural background or how well you know them. A good rule to keep in mind is that high context cultures like Japanese, Arab, or Chinese want to get to know you before doing business with you. Therefore, it may be common for business associates from these countries to be more personal in your writings. On the other hand, people from low context cultures like German, American, or Scandinavian prefer to get to the point very quickly. Rule 9 is to reply to your emails even if the email wasn't intended for you. It is etiquette and a courtesy to be responsive to every person's communication, whether in person, by phone, or by email, text, and letters. Acknowledging and answering communications are all the ways we respond as human beings. So it's difficult to reply to every email message ever sent to you, but you should try to. A reply isn't necessary but serves as a good email etiquette, especially if this person works in the same company or industry as you. Today, most people expect replies to all calls and emails within 24 to 48 hours and replies to text within hours, no matter what. There are a few examples I've listed for you, which is I got your voicemail or text message and I will surely get back to you latest by next week. Thanks for the question. However, currently I'm not aware of the correct response. I'll check and get back to you by whatever time. I'm away until next week, so will reply next Monday or Tuesday at the latest. Also, when you acknowledge, make sure acknowledging you have received a message is always a courtesy. So always acknowledge your emails. Like, thank you for sending the information. I read your message. I will reply by that particular date or time. The last important rule is to proofread every message. Your mistakes won't go unnoticed by the recipients of your email, and depending upon the recipient, you may be judged for making them. And errors in an email can cause major problems in your career or education, which can include professional emails to employees or colleagues, academic emails to lecturer, tutor, or researcher, business emails to clients or customer. Double check the spelling of names. Check the signature block of any message you're replying to. Don't rely on spell checkers. Read and reread your email a few times, preferably aloud, before sending it off. Check dates, times, and day combinations. Open your calendar to be sure that May 1 is a Friday. Also check dates and times carefully before sending a meeting request. Recheck every hyperlink. Be sure it is live and accurate. Remember that your grammar and spelling checker will not flag a typo in a URL. Check contractions and apostrophes. People often mix their and their, like DHEIR and THEY with an apostrophe with RE. It's and it's, you and your, so on, so we know those contractions, right? So if there's something that can hurt the credibility of your text, it is a similar mistake. Also remember that the apostrophe is never used to form plurals, as we discussed in the earlier videos. And hunt for your common mistakes. So use the research or the search function of the computer to find mistakes that you are likely to make most of the times. So try and avoid that. So I hope this video will really be informative. Thank you for watching the video. Keep watching more English grammar videos. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel.